Hi, it's Michael, and welcome back to another SkyPortal how-to. So today we're going to be talking about the concept of shifts. And so in recent years, especially with this rise of time domain astronomy, where astronomy is happening all the time, these large collaborations have been forming to, for example, take the burden off of one another. And so the idea here is if you have friends in other time zones, you can split up the day and basically try to minimize the amount of work that you're doing in the middle of the night. And we have some toolkit within SkyPortal to help enable that. And so if we start per usual from our front page and you go to the left-hand side here, you'll see this menu called shifts. And so immediately you see basically a calendar page, not so different than what you might see in Google Calendar, as well as the ability to add a new shift, which has a drop-down menu on the side here. And so we'll give some examples of creating shifts. And so we can give our shift a name, shift today, or something. Now, different shifts may have different numbers of participants. It may not just be you, it may be others. And so in this case, we'll select 3, and we'll say the description is today's shift. So we'll get to this repeated shifts in a second. That will be very convenient. And then we have the ability to choose either local or UTC time. So in this case, we'll make a shift just in local time here in Minnesota. And so it's the 28th, and we'll say it did last the next 2 hours. We'll submit, and we'll see indeed it lasts from 1:41 to 3:41 p.m. today. So let's go through the process of making another shift. We'll call it maybe shift later today. We'll have it have 2 users, shift later, and then once again, we'll click no. In this case, let's click UTC time. So you'll see, so in Minnesota, UTC time, we're something like 5 hours ahead. And so we'll, why don't we hop forward, let's say 2 hours here, again on the 28th, and then we'll say 23, submit. Yeah, and so we'll get a shift a little later. Okay, so this is convenient, whether you think in local time and you think in UTC time, so you can specify whichever way you like. Now to get to repeats, it may be common. Maybe you have been tasked to be on shift for something like the next week for a particular block in time, maybe during your daytime, and so you can set up things very similarly. Let's say next week's shift, and then we'll have 3 users again. We'll just call it next week. And then we'll click yes for the daily shifts. Now the way this drop-down menu works is you'll once again specify. So let's start with tomorrow, and let's say it's at noon local time, which is fine. And then you're going to have that shift lasting all of next week. So let's say till the 5th of October in this case, and that shift lasts, let's say 6 hours, and so say 1,800 hours here. And then if we click submit, you'll see that you have now a shift covering the next handful of days between that block of time. Again, this is useful to not have to input all of your shifts in over and over again. And we can do the same thing in UTC time. Right, so hopefully this was a relatively easy tutorial that you can follow to input your shifts. Maybe in the future we'll go over some of the notifications and other shift toolage that we also have in here. But otherwise, we look forward to your thoughts, questions, and comments. And as always, we will look forward to having you at our next SkyPortal How To. Thanks.